you guys have in-laws that support your hobbies. Well, this guy does, so I'll tell you all about that and these tools right after this. My in-laws are the best. They've been antique appraisers for a long time. They live in Vegas, go to all these garage sales every weekend, and my father-in-law finds these beautiful Craftsman tools, saves them for me, sells everything else on eBay. My mother-in-law, she's the big eBay seller. She's been on there for many years. Look her up at M's Gems. I'll put the link in the description below. But she is the sweetest eBay seller you'll ever come across. So make sure you check them out. Alright, let's start with 3/8" round head fine tooth ratchet. This one is from 1971, as stamped on the handle there, with the patent numbers and Canadian patented. I also have the big brother 1/2" and the little brother 1/4", all same time period. The 1/2" one, it does have the Canadian patent number. The other two don't. But these are great ratchets. These were made from 1970 all the way through 2008. A 38-year run. It's amazing. Real quick on the patent numbers. So 3457231. That's the patent number for the double paw action that these guys have that give it that fine tooth ratcheting. Ooh, nice and smooth. The other patent number 3532013. That's the patent number for the quick release. Ooh, that one's a little stuck. I'll have to clean that up. But the quick release was redesigned and repatented specifically for the round head fine tooth ratchet. So they had to make a new patent number for it. But very cool to fill in that gap. Alright, let's go this way. Next up, we have the 3/8" teardrop ratchet. Definitely not fine tooth. But this one has the VL stamp. I also have other versions of this. There's a very similar one, 1/4" VT stamp. But they have that similar head and the same selector switch and quick release button. But this guy, this is when they started to make the selector switches and the quick release button out of plastic. The previous ones were metal, but these ones, due to cost saving measures and whatnot, they decided to make them out of plastic. They started off with the quick release button and then eventually went to both. But I think this was essentially the beginning of the end. Getting cheaper, trying to shave costs, and eventually moving everything overseas where, it just fell apart in my opinion. But now they're starting to bring back manufacturing to the US, at least partly. So now they say made in the USA with global materials. So it's a start. Cool ratchet though, add to the collection. Alright, next up. These guys. These are 10" arc joint tongue and groove water pump pliers. So these are pretty cool. They're pretty old due to that logo. It has that pointy A, the double lines next to the logos, and it has the P stamp. So see the circle P down below. That P stamp and the rope banded pattern on the handle means that Wild made these. Alright, so the rope pattern means that these were made after 1960, and then there's no model number on it, so that suggests that they were made before 1970 when they started putting the model number on them. So this is definitely from the 60s. And this is according to Alloy Artifacts, which is another great resource I use. I'll put the link in the description. These are in rough shape, they're kind of stiff, but they'll be easy to clean up. Some of the chrome plating is chipped off. You can see on the tip there, as well as parts of the handles on here. I think this is probably used as a hammer at some point. You see it's pretty beat up, but you know, not bad for $1. Pretty cool find. All right. Okay, next up. Nice 10-inch adjustable wrench. Pretty old. This is this logo is from the late 50s, early 60s. But this is actually one of the first appearances of that Barnyard A logo in the Craftsman line of logos. Before that was the pointed A. But this one, forged alloy in the US. This one has the P stamp right there. So this one was probably also made by Wild. But what's interesting is that I have the 8-inch that's older. I showed that in my last video. And then I have 12-inch and 15-inch newer versions. So it fits right in the middle there. Perfect for the collection. Very cool find. This one's in pretty rough shape. You could see that the knurled handle there is pretty beat up. Kind of stiff. Was it used as a hammer? Maybe. Looks a little bit beat up. But I should be able to clean this up, take it apart, clean it up, and it should work very nicely. That's a good addition to the collection. The jaws have normal wear and tear, but pretty decent shape. Still very cool. Very happy to have it. Okay, now we have 6-inch diagonal cutters. And this one's hard to see, but it does say Craftsman on there if you get the lighting just right. There you go. This is kind of the modern era. Not so interesting to me. It's got that printed logo or laser sketched, laser etched or whatever. But this is the kind of logo that just comes right off with cleaning. I have some other tools from this time period, so some beefy pliers, that etched on logo, some other pliers. I have some bigger ones too, but you can see when I try to clean it up, that logo just smudges right off. Bothers me. But these tools are very tough, right? They're still high quality tools. Nice cushy handles for guys like me with computer hands. But still like it. Those will clean up very nicely. The cutters are in very good shape. Cool. Alright, we have some similar 5-inch mini needle nose pliers. These are also from that newer time period, after the late 80s basically. Same type of logo printed on there. Still very cool. Handles and been beat up, kind of in bad shape. The cutter seems to be in good shape. The teeth are in good shape, so I still like them. I have some other similar ones, but older. The extra long extension. Use those all the time. Very cool. All right. All right, then they found me these Phillips screwdrivers. They're pretty close to the same, subtle differences. I love these things. These are so cool. The one on top here is a WF stamp. This is probably from the late 60s through the 70s, and that's due to, you know, that yellow coloration. Has the longer cuts in the tip, right? The bottom one, a little bit later, it's also WF or EWF, but probably from the 80s due to the style. I have a newer one, probably from the 90s, but kind of interesting to see them through time. The different colors, different style of logo. There's some real subtle differences between those logos. The top one has longer double lines on the side, as well as a slightly different S. A little bit, yeah, just some subtle differences. The 90s version, what's interesting about this, it says #1 made in the USA. These ones are #1 Phillips. Where'd that go? Right there. This one doesn't even say Phillips. And this one, how off-centered the logo is compared to the other labels. It's like they kind of gave up at that point. This is when they used to care, you know, care about details. But still good to add to the collection. All right, next up we have a 1/2 inch, 3-inch extension bar. It's got the V stamp. These are probably my favorite, with the older pointed A in the logo, with this kind of S and that higher arched point in the A. This one is in the late 40s time period. Love this thing. It's very cool. Good shape. I have a newer one. It's also very nice. H stamp. Nice and shiny, but I don't know. I like the older one better. I'll probably give this newer one to my son. Put it in his toolbox. Cool. And yet another 3/8 inch, 3-inch extension bar. This one has H stamp. I have plenty of these. So, I don't know, not as interesting to me, but still very cool that they gave it to me. And finally, Phillips screwdriver bit socket, #3. GK stamp. Not as old, but I don't have any of these. I have plenty of the Torx bit sockets, but none of these. I'll probably never use this, but you know, my favorite saying, better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Still cool. Alright, that's it for this tool haul. Don't forget to check out M's Gems on eBay. And I really hope you enjoyed it. If you got you know, absolutely anything out of this, please consider clicking that thumbs up. Subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon. And if you know of anyone else that might enjoy this, please consider sharing it, spreading the love. And if you didn't like it, well, I'm surprised you're still watching. But either way, thank you so much for hanging in there, and don't forget, Keep the dirty side down. Later.